Now we want to look at graphing when there is both a change in amplitude and a change in period. The basic steps to graphing one period of sine and cosine are to first find the x values. We're going to set up an inequality. We're going to put the inside of the function in between 0 and 2 pi and solve for x. This will give us the start and end points for one period. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to find all of the midpoints so that we have our 4 equal segments. Once we have our 4 equal segments, then we will draw a dotted horizontal line for the middle of our graph. Later on, we will talk about a vertical shift that will move our graph up and down, and the vertical shift will determine the middle. And then we're going to draw in the basic shape for sine or cosine, and we're going to use the amplitude that's provided to determine the vertical distance from the middle of the graph to the top and from the middle of the graph to the bottom. So graph y equals 4 sine of 3x. So we have multiplied 4 times the outside of our function, so our amplitude is 4, that's our a. And on the inside of the function we have multiplied by 3, that's our b. That's going to change our period. The 2 pi divided by b, so our period will be 2 pi divided by 3. To see where we start and where we end, we will always take the input of our function, put it between 0 and 2 pi, and then solve for x. So our graph will start at 0 and will end at 2 pi over 3. We will need to find the endpoints, the midpoints of our graph. So we already have the start and end point. Now let's find the middle. So we're going to add 0 plus 2 pi over 3, and since we have a fraction, we're going to multiply that by 2. So 0 plus 2 pi over 3, that's 2 pi over 3, and then we're going to multiply by a half, so we want to half that. And when we multiply by a half, the 2's cancel out, and we're left with pi divided by 3. So our midpoint will be pi divided by 3. Now we want to find the quarter points. So 0 plus pi over 3, add them together, multiply by a half, we get pi over 6. And then the midpoint between the middle and the end point, that next quarter point, pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3, that will be 3 pi over 3. Which is just pi. We add them together and then we multiply by a half, or divide by 2. Either way, we see that we get pi over 2. Our amplitude is 4, so the vertical distance from the bottom to the top of our graph will be 4. And we are graphing sine and sine starts at 0, starts at the x-intercept, goes to the max of 4, comes back down to the x-axis, goes down to the min of -4, and then comes back to the x-axis. So here's one period of our sine function with a period of 2 pi over 3 and an amplitude of 4.